Hey, it's prime. We're 3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route. Mighty gets a scoring. Oh, and PJ start to scout. Your Ron's really trash. What do you think he's damn fouls? TBI the show, so buckle down, sit back. And Jay we trust, cause he's the leader of the pack. It's prime, Jupiter.
This is TBI, 3 balls in alongside Logan and Davo. This is PJ's episode number 2 of season number 3. We are back at it. It is our pre-draft special show. We're going to jump into our first topic today, and that is which quarterback has the most pressure with having the best draft in a month from now at the draft party at Ribbons. Davo, why don't you start us off? Who's got the most pressure to draft well?
Well, first of all, Logan, thanks for hosting us. I know we don't say it anymore, but I like to mention it. Who's got the most pressure? Well, we have 6 quarterbacks, so obviously there's pressure on all of them. In my opinion, and this is not a segment about him, but I think Prey has a lot of pressure. He's been just lost in the championship. He's won a championship, and he came a play away or a couple plays away that both would have sent them to another championship. So he's getting there. He's just not getting all the way, almost doesn't count. So I think he's putting together teams. I think he has to put together the best team that he's put together so far. And I think he has the most pressure to win this year because of the fact that I think he's been the best quarterback over the last couple of years. And he's been probably one of the top 2-3 players every year that he's played, basically. Pressure's on him. He's like Mike Trout. You gotta get it done.
He's also not going to have his safety blanket this year, or at least you won't have him for
the majority of the
league.
Yeah, so. Definitely doesn't have that second or third round pick in prime.
I mean, he could draft me, so I'll be there for him. But
Logan,
yeah,
which captain quarterback has the most pressure to draft well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a ton of storylines, right? Dax is looking to repeat. Gronk is coming back, although he never really feels any pressure.
Is he looking to repeat also, technically?
For him, it would be a repeat, yeah. So he doesn't really feel pressure. I mean, I think for me, Snow is going to be the quarterback who's got the most to show, right? He hasn't played in Jew ball in is it 5? Is it 10? I don't know how many years it is, but he hasn't played consistently. The game, from my perspective, has also changed, right? It's become a lot more physical. There's a lot more talent that we have since the last time he played. There's a lot of players he doesn't even know. So even just getting caught up to speed on where and who to draft is going to be, something that he's got to do. So he's got his homework. He's got his work cut out for him.
You should watch TBI.
And then lastly, can he stay healthy for a full season? And, hopefully he can, time will tell. But for me, it's got to be Snow. We would love to see him go back to his MVP form and, take a team to the championships. But for now, right now, I want to see it before I believe it. So, again, I think Snow's got the most pressure.
So I've got to disagree with both of you. I actually, when you were talking about, almost there, I thought you were going to refer to the guy I think has the most pressure, and that's Yaron. Yaron, and this is not a trash Yaron segment. This is a legitimate issue that Yaron has. He's a quarterback captain who was called out year 1 of cheating his way into a championship. And I don't like that term because he brought obviously down a player that I guess at that time wasn't expected to show up. Year 2, he gets to a championship game, gets blown out in it, but got there a little bit suspect call, continued the game after an ambulance came to take somebody away. But irregardless of that, he, nail biter in this last year's playoffs, but he's got the most pressure to win. And he's got the most pressure to win a championship because his window is closing more than anyone else's. He's on the wrong side of the Jew ball age of playing. He's already already hit the 40 mark in his age in general. So how many more great years does Yaron have left in him? If he's going to have a year to win, it's got to be this year. He's got the most pressure to draft. A guy like Prey can win in a different year. Dax can win in another year. Gronk is young enough to can win another year. All those guys are around the age of 30. Their time is more to come. Perlo as well as early 30s. So when you're talking about a quarterback with the most pressure right now, it's Yaron. He's got to surround himself with the right team, the right players, and finally get that championship that's eluded away from him.
Yeah, just a note, not necessarily related to this year, but if there was a quarterback who was going to be able to age well with Jew ball, because Yaron does not rely on his legs and more so on his arm, he is someone who I could see, playing well into his, call it late 40s and still being effective. But I definitely hear your point.
Well, we talked about which captain or quarterback has the most pressure. I think what our fans are more interested in is
our only fans.
It's now time for the official TBI 3-round Jew Ball draft. And Snow, you are officially on the clock. Davo, if you're Snow, who's going number 1?
If I was Snow, well, I would have 2 thoughts because I'm picking 1, so I have everyone available to me. Question is, do I go best player, which is probably, you can argue, Zin, a guy who gives me that I know that is always going to be the best player on the field.
Definitely.
Both besides any lineman on the offensive side and the defensive side. Talking about a guy who had the most receiving touchdowns or most touchdowns, whatever, or tied with Storm. Or do I go line and my protection? Because, like you said, I don't want to get hurt. Want to make sure to last longest. Do I take open? It's a tough debate, but I think, or we think, that you take the best available player in Jew Ball, which would have to be Moshe the Scoot Zin.
There you go. Zin, number 1 in the TBI mock draft. Logan, if you're drafting a number 2, since you're wearing the purple shirt for Purple Cobras, and that is obviously the captain, Perla. If you are White Goodman with your Purple Cobras, who are you taking with the number 2 overall pick?
Yeah. So again, Zin's off the board, but there's still a ton of talent. And I think that the conversation about, do I need linemen? Do I go wide receiver? I think that is still similar to Snow, a relevant conversation and a relevant debate that he's going to have in his head. But with Zin being off the board, I know that Perla really likes a strong line, and I know that he likes guys who are going to be fierce. So even though that I know some people feel that this may not be, he's either 1A, 1B of the top linemen, but I see Perla going with line, and therefore we have Perla taking Solo with the 2nd pick overall.
There you go. Solo number 2 to Perla. With the 3rd overall pick, Gronk, you're on the clock. And in our humble opinion, this is a slam dunk pick. Gronk loves a good line. That's what he did 2 years ago when he drafted the monster line of Munch and Solo. He's going to take arguably the best lineman in Jew Ball today. He'll take open with the number 3 overall pick. I don't think there's a doubt there that he is worthy of the number 3 overall pick.
I think that's a potential steal.
Yaron is on the clock. Logan.
So here, now all of a sudden, Yaron is actually a quarterback who can succeed, we talked about, without necessarily a top-tier line. And he's done that in years past as well. I actually think Yaron goes with who we all think might be a MVP candidate. He's an MVP candidate every year, but this year specifically an MVP candidate. I think the Rat becomes a Lionheart, and Yaron goes with Mighty in the 1st round, 4th pick.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue different receivers there, but there is nobody with the Mighty.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Mighty not only brings you one of the best receivers in the league, he also plays a position safety that is valuable, obviously, but also limited in terms of who can play it, right? And if you think about who are the safeties in the league, Mighty's your top 2 or 3, maybe even top 1, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
And other players can be slotted in at corner, at linebacker, but safety is a really hard position to fill. So Mighty checks 2 big boxes. I think Yaron loves a good box check.
There you go. Prey, you're on the clock. Davo, who's Prey taking with number 5?
Well, after 3 linemen went, we know Prey doesn't actually like to really play with line. So we're going to take a turn from the linemen, and we're going to go Dax. And that's not quarterback Dax. That's just
that's Morty
Dax, the doc. I think that it gives Prey his first real.
Oh, he's just stealing his Dax away from Dax. I like that.
Yeah, I was just saying, not only does he get a really strong top-tier wide receiver, he also makes a different team worse.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
there's a cerebral pick there.
It's all
as
about
well.
breaking up Roll Tide. It's him going to Snow number 1, and then Dak's going to
he's
number 5.
he figured, hey, this is championship pedigree. I need to win a championship. Let's try and do that.
Dax, you were on the clock with number 6. I actually think Dax goes a different route he did last year. Last year, he took best available player, and then he started sprinkling line after that when he drafted open legs. I think he takes the best available lineman right here, and that is DK. DK, who I think got off to a slow start last year, took a while to get into it. Then by the end of the year, his sacks numbers were big, and he plays a really solid tight end. He's got good hands, good player. And I think Dax ends up with a really good player. Number 6, DK, is, I guess, the 4th lineman taken in the first round. Dax, you're on the clock again. Davo.
Dax at 7. This is obviously assuming, because in Jubal, we don't wish harm on anybody. And we hope that everyone is able to play. So this is all going in that it's healthy. But I'm taking Ivry. You're talking about Ivry is first grade talent that just kind of got squeezed out of the first round, and so now I have a great lineman, and I have a arguably first round wide receiver that is also fantastic on the defensive side. So I got such a great foundation for my team, and already being the best quarterback, I'm ready to roll Tide.
All right, Prey is on the clock again with the second pick in the second round. And to me, I think this is a no-brainer for Prey. He can go a lot of different areas, but you talk about taking best overall. He got himself, Morty Dax, who can play corner, linebacker, give you a lot of different, looks on defense. Prey on the back end. I think Prey goes ahead and he's like, listen, I think I can have a strong back end defense. I'll get line later in the draft. I'm going Jack. I give myself a huge target, a receiver. I give myself a huge defender. He could play safety. He could play corner. He can give you a lot of different looks. I'm going Jack with my number 8 overall pick in the second round.
It's interesting. So what we have here is Prey kind of screwing over Roll Tide by taking Dax, and then screwing over Yaron by taking Jack. Right now, we have Prey having one of the most cerebral drafts we've seen in years past.
Definitely. All right. Yaron is on the clock. Logan, where's Yaron going with this pick?
Yeah, I've got, again, we talked about Yaron, and I'd say his, he doesn't necessarily need a line, unlike some other quarterbacks do. So I think he goes back and goes back to the well and gets another wide receiver. This is one that, again, this person's draft stock may have dropped a little bit because of injury, but I think he's going to be healthy this year, and I think he's going to play a full season. So I've got Yaron putting a lot of faith in Goldberg and his reconstructed ACL or MCL or whatever ripped. And I've got Goldberg going to Yaron and him signing a contract saying he won't play basketball all year.
And also stealing the ex-crony away from the guy who is on the clock, which is Gronk, Davo. And if you're Gronk, you just lost Goldberg. There's no Jack on the board. There's no Ivry on the board. Where are you going now with this pick?
That is a great question. Obviously, we know somewhat of Gronk's drafting past, where he went Munch in the first, and then he went Solo in the second. And because he was able to get this dominant line, he was able to literally plow over other teams. So if I have open, there's only one thing to pair with open, and that's legs. Everybody loves open legs, because when you got open legs, great things happen.
You talk about recreating the magic of Roll Tide. Gronk coming back strong, having a great line 2 years ago, coming back, getting even maybe arguably a better line or top or as good as that line. Wow.
I don't know if you can get better than Solo,
yeah,
but still a
fabulous line. It's definitely good. It could be the best line in this draft.
But either way, wow, Gronk coming away with something strong. All right. Perla's on the clock because it's, obviously it's a snake draft here. Where does Perla go? Logan, we're going to give you back to Perla pick here because the purple shirt. What do you do if you're Perla?
So Perla's essentially solidified his line with a very fierce pick with Solo. I think now he starts looking at wide receiver. I know last year these two had a great connection, and quite frankly, I don't think you could go wrong with this wide receiver. I think that Perla goes with last year's MVP, and Johnny Storm is putting on a purple Cobra jersey.
There you go. Wow, wow, wow. All right, Snow is on the clock here, and to me, this is kind of a no-brainer. Snow had Zin in the first round. I don't think Snow can. I think Snow believes he can get line later in the draft. There's some really good players still left out there for line. Some of the top tier linemen have already been taken. So I think you go best available defender, and someone who is a shorthanded receiver, and that is somebody who I think has earned the right to be in the second round. That's Zada. Zada, I think, goes to Snow as the last pick in the second round. Now it's time for the third round, and it goes back to Snow. So Logan, where does Snow go here? He's got Zada, he's got Zin. It's not taking line yet. Where does he go?
Yeah, so I think Snow now that he has his wide receiver 1, his wide receiver 2, he's got a ridiculous defense as well. If you think about Zin playing free safety, Zada locking down a corner position. He can also play linebacker. He can play just about anywhere on the field.
And line also.
Yeah. Man. So now that he kind of has his 2 corner pieces, I think he shifts over and starts thinking about line. And now he's going to go after someone that he knows, someone that he's played with, someone who's been in the league for years. I think Cook gets picked at the top of the third round.
That's a good pick also. All right. Purple Cobra is on the clock again. Who do you take? Davo. Where does Pearl look outside of the typical Jubal pool and look at some of the newer draft picks possibly?
It's possible. I mean, you have a lot of good players on the board still. He might look to line. He could pair Solo and Beast. That would be a very good move. But I think knowing that he has Solo, so whoever he can really pair with Solo is going to give him a pretty great line. He has Storm, who's going to be a great receiver 1 for him. I think he looks to try to beat teams with his offense. And I think he goes to his buddy, the first technical rookie off the board in this draft. He's going to go with his man Sharf. He has great connection, great chemistry. I think when we talk about drafting, we talk about people don't want to draft for best player, but also best chemistry that they have with other players who they play well with. And I think they know each other. And even though Storm is the quote unquote 1, I think Sharf will get a lot of plays because Storm will attract more attention and he has such a great connection. So if I'm Perla, I'm going to take Sharf in the third, and then I'll look to finish my line off a little bit later.
All right. Gronk is on the clock, and, Gronk's always policy is best available player. While Jubal has not seen a lot of Yoni O, Tuesday Night Leagues have. And Yoni O, to me, I think right now is the best available player on the market. I think Gronk does his research, gets his knowledge, and he finds out that Yoni O is a guy I could play with. He takes Yoni O, and that's his number 1 receiver to pair up with open legs.
Gronk is actually a big supporter of TBI, so he's watching this right now. I think he's going to look into it now because you said that.
All right. Yaron is on the clock. How does he finish off his draft? Logan.
So I think that I think Yaron now starts to think about line. He's got 2 great receivers. His defense is set. He starts thinking about line. And this person is someone who actually I thought was going to have a big rise in their stock this season. Someone who's been putting the work in the offseason. And this is not, this is someone who Yaron obviously knows well, is brought to the game. I see Yaron going with Beast right now, locking down his center, his tight end, whatever you want him to play, locking down his D-line. Beast is going to be ferocious this year. I see Yaron going with, a classic, if you will. I think Beast has been on Lionheart all 3 years. But anyway, he's been on Yaron the best. Anyway, this will be the 3rd year in a row. I see Yaron going with Beast in the 3rd round.
I think you're creating like a Step Brothers moment here between Goldberg and Beast.
Yeah, I love it.
Where they hate each other, and then they'll be on the line next to like, did we just become best friends? Yeah. And I think Beast is gonna have an incredible year. He's probably for a future vote gonna get most improved, I think.
All right, there you go. I love it. All right, Prey is on the clock. Davo, where does Prey go here? Because he has yet to take line. He's got great offensive players, great defensive players. Where does he go here?
Well, yeah, there are a lot of linemen available, but a lot of them will have gone up the board. You have Kuti, you have Beast, Open, Solo, DK. He's already got 2, like we said, 2 top class receivers. He took Dax away from Dax. He took Jack away from Yaron. He's just screwing everybody right now. And why not screw Dax one more time and go with Daxie? I'm putting the brothers together, and if they're just gonna double team the older brother, and I think it's normal.
Well, listen, Prey tried to become part of the Rabin family the year he won. So maybe this is, Prey's way of saying, I'll be part of the Dax family. Maybe I'll win a championship this way. Wow. He gets Dax and Daxie. Wow, wow, wow. By the way, this notion that Jack is Yaron's guy, I mean, Jack did play with Fight Club last year, just, but he did. But
he was on the team.
He was on the team. But yeah, I'm just saying, but he was Yaron's guy 2 years ago. All right, Dax, last pick. I mean, his brothers have been taken off the board away from him. His former Roll Tide teammates' open legs have been taken away from him. Where does he go here? I think he goes back to the well of the Roll Tide, try to reunite some of the magic that got him that championship. And he takes somebody who's earned their right into the third round, their play, their energy, what they contribute to Jubal. It is the last pick of the third round goes to the Rook. The Rook goes third in the third round, last pick in the third round. And of course, since it's a snake draft, he'll also have the first pick in the fourth round. And I guess at that point, he'll probably try to pair someone up with DK, maybe something like, with that type of stature.
Goes available. Dobbs is available.
Right, Dobbs.
There's some other really good linemen available.
If you're looking for someone like Burt, something like that. Again, a lot of line available there. But that's how we see it. I have a good feeling TBI is going to be wrong about 99% of this draft picks.
I bet you're right about that.
But I will say this, that it's going to be fun. We're a month away.
We'll get one right.
I'm not even so confident we'll get one right.
I mean, I'm sure that the people we listed will get picked.
Yes.
And I'm sure we got the order right.
Listen.
You never know.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Who knows? Maybe we go to 8 teams at this point. Who knows? Maybe we go back down to 5 teams. I mean, there's just no way.
Everyone gets their own team.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, right. You get to draft your own team.
Maybe
Anyways,
he'll still be quarterback.
I guess you guys will all have to show up to draft night.
Draft night is October 12th at Rabin's house. We're going to be on a little hiatus, TBI, to contend with, the upcoming holiday. Happy New Year, a good yontiv. But I gotta stop the show for a second, guys, and I gotta take off the persona PJs for a moment.
Taking your PJs off,
and that is, we joke around a lot in the chat. We joke around a lot in general, but I'm a little humbled here, and that is, for those of you who do know, for those of you who don't know, it's not a big deal. But it's been a year. This coming week will be a year that my twins were born. They were born out of Rosh Hashanah. And there's 2 people I really got to shout out. So this is Moshe Spern speaking, not PJ's. And that is Jay, who everything goes through Jay. Everything that happens in Jubal is Jay. And of course, Oren. And that is just the love and appreciation I have for both of them. Everyone's family situation is different. But, when your Jubal family is there for you and your wife gets this unbelievable package in the hospital, not expecting it. I believe it's what was the first time we actually did do the gift giving of Jubal, which was such a beautiful idea by Oren, by Big O. There's no words to speak to that, the amount of appreciation I have. So what I would say to all the rookies out there, for those of you who are new to Jubal, I would tell you that, the chat can blow up sometimes. And there are moments where, you're looking at your phone, there's 1,000 messages, but no, there's a community here that is so much bigger than just playing football. And the love and appreciation I have for this community. And I love the fact that it's something that Oren brought to everybody. So thank you, Oren. Thank you, Jordan. The 2 of you had a lot to do with that. And that's just me, just speaking my heart. I guess I have this platform to do so. So thank you, everybody. And can't wait to see you all at the draft party. Dava, what are we?
We are missing football, getting ready for the draft. We are 3 balls in.
And we are now 3 balls out.
Balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time sprout.